everyone. So I just want to give you a little bit of an update before we start into the Kids Talk here. Just to let you know that every Wednesday we will be posting a short Kids Talk, short story up here on the Facebook page. So to stay tuned for that, as well as other resources and other tools that are going to be popping up on the Facebook page for you to use in your families and for your kids as well. So I hope you enjoy the video. Pete, I don't know what I'm going to do. I can't think of a kids talk to do because the kids can't get to church anymore and they can't go to Sunday school and they can't hear me doing a kids talk on a Sunday now with everything that's going on. Oh, I just can't think of what to do. My brain's just not working. What will I do?
We could do Paw Patrol or The Incredibles. That's a really good movie. Or what about Fortnite? There's loads of people in Fortnite.
No, Pete, we can't do any random thing. It's from the Bible. A kids talk from the Bible. We need a story in the Bible. Can you help me with that?
Let me have a think. Oh, can we do a parrot story? Are there any stories about parrots in the Bible? Because I'm a parrot and I love hearing about other parrots, please.
Pete, no. There's no stories in the Bible about parrots. That would be really cool, but unfortunately there's no stories in the Bible about that. But you know something? You remind me of a story in the Bible of your coat, because your coat's colourful, and that reminds me of another story in the Bible. Well, hello there everyone, and thank you for joining me, because I have a really exciting story to tell you today. And you know, it was actually my friend Parrot Pete reminded me of this story because he has a really lovely coat that he wears around that's red and white, and it reminded me of another coat that was worn in the Bible by someone, and this person's name was Joseph. Now Joseph was the youngest of lots and lots of brothers. He had so many brothers and he was the youngest one of them all, and here they are, there's all his brothers. And you know, his brothers they weren't his biggest fans. They didn't really like him. In fact, they hated him. And the reason they hated him was because he got a beautiful multicolored coat from his father, because his dad loved him so much because he was the youngest that he gave him this coat. And you see, his brothers didn't like this because they were jealous. They wanted a cool coat. So they started to plot against him. They started to think, what could we do to Joseph to get rid of him? Because remember, they didn't like him. So do you know what they did? They threw him into a pit. They threw him down into a deep pit and left him there. How shocking is that? I hope your brothers or sisters would never do that to you, but they threw him away. But you know what happened, which was worse than that? They sold him into slavery. So what does slavery mean? That's a big word, and maybe you don't really know what it means. Slavery is basically owning another human being. Do you know the way sometimes you'd walk into a shop and buy a packet of sweets, and those sweets are now yours and you own them? Or maybe you walk into a shop and you buy a new pair of shoes, they're your shoes. Well, slavery is a bit like that, except it's owning a human being, which is totally bad and totally wrong. God never designed us to own another human being. We're all meant to be free. So whenever you think about the word slavery, you can equate it to being really bad. Slavery equals bad. So now you understand what happens in the story of Joseph and how he must have felt now that he was a slave. Thank you, Other Matt, for that look into what slavery actually means and how bad it actually was. So Joseph was now sold into slavery. He was someone's property. But you know what his brothers did? His brothers took his lovely coat, brought it back to his dad, and told the dad a lie. He told their dad that Joseph was dead, that he had been killed. But we know that he wasn't, because we know that he was now a slave. So you can imagine what that must have felt like for Joseph. I'm sure he wasn't really happy about this. But you see, now that Joseph was a slave, he was taken to a land called Egypt. Now Joseph was born here, where this red dot is here, and he had to walk all the way down here to Egypt, where he would be sold again. Now remember this, there was no cars, there was no buses, and there was no trains in those days, so Joseph had to do that long walk all by himself with strangers. And you see, the thing, because he was a slave and he was owned by other people, he probably wouldn't have been treated very nice. But you see, next week we're going to look at what happens next in the story. What happens to Joseph? So you're going to have to tune in next Wednesday to find out what happens.
No, please don't stop the story there. I want to hear what's happening next. I'm not very good at waiting.
Well, I'm so sorry, Pete, but you know, if you come next Wednesday and you tune into the Facebook, you'll be able to see the next portion of the story and find out what happens to Joseph. And you can even bring a friend with you. And boys and girls, as well to you, if you want to find out what happens next in the life of Joseph, which there's so many exciting things happen, tune in next Wednesday to find out what happens. Before I go, I just want to say I hope you enjoyed the first part of our story looking at Joseph. But before I go, I want to set you a challenge for this week. And this is a really fun and exciting challenge. What I want you to do is I want you to make the best paper plane that you've ever made before. Now, let me explain a few things. You could just go and get a piece of paper and fold it into a plane and say, there, I'm done. But that's not really what I'm looking for. What I want you to do is take that plane and I want you to colour it in, I want you to stick stuff to it, I want you to design the perfect plane. And then what I want you to do is get your mum and dad, tell them to take a photograph of it and send it to us through our Facebook Messenger. And next week, before we do the video, me and Parrot Pete will look at and see what the best 3 are, and we'll maybe show them in our video next week. So, good luck with that.